I always thought her brother didn't like me. He was quiet, distant, always watching. Sometimes he would stare at me like he was evaluating something. At first I assumed he was just protective. You know, the typical older brother. But as months went by, I started noticing something strange. Every time she lied to me. Every time she told me she was busy. Every time she canceled plans last minute. Her brother acted weird. Not angry. Not surprised. Just uncomfortable. Like he knew more than he wanted to. Like he was holding back a truth that was eating him alive. Back then I ignored it. Now I know the truth. He wasn't distant. He wasn't cold. He was guilty. Because he knew exactly what his sister was doing behind my back. She didn't betray me suddenly. It happened slowly. Quietly. The way storms always begin. At first it was small changes. She stopped texting me good morning. Stopped asking how my day was. Stopped wanting to spend time together. Every time I asked if something was wrong, she smiled and said, "No, I'm just tired." But it wasn't tiredness. It was distance. Cold, intentional, emotional distance. She was pulling away. Not because she lost feelings overnight, but because she was giving those feelings to someone else. And I, like a fool in love, kept pretending everything was fine. One night she told me she was going to her brother's place. A normal visit. A simple family night. So I didn't question it. But something felt off. Her tone was too rehearsed. Her smile too forced. Her goodbye kiss too quick. Like she was rushing to leave. Still I trusted her. I always trusted her. But 2 hours later, her brother posted a photo on Instagram. He was out with friends. Not at home. Not anywhere near her. And the caption said, "Much needed night out." That's when the first real crack appeared. If she wasn't with him, where was she? The next time I saw her brother, he couldn't look me in the eyes. He kept glancing down, fidgeting, avoiding me entirely. It wasn't normal behavior. This wasn't how a protective brother acted. This was how a guilty man acted. Someone who was hiding a truth that didn't belong to him, but was heavy enough to crush him anyway. At one point, he pulled me aside and said something strange. "Take care of yourself, all right? Not take care of her. Not you two will be fine. Just take care of yourself." I didn't understand it then. But now, that sentence plays in my mind like a warning I ignored. Her brother showed up at my workplace one afternoon. Eyes red, hands shaking. He said he needed to talk. This wasn't normal. He never liked me. Never reached out. Never initiated anything. So for him to come to me, I knew something was very, very wrong. We sat in his car. He locked the doors, took a deep breath, and said words that hit me harder than any punch could. "I can't keep watching this, you deserve to know what she's doing." My stomach dropped. My chest tightened. And before I could speak, he added, "She hasn't been with me. She's been lying to both of us." When he said those words, my ears started ringing. My heartbeat got louder. The world outside the car went silent. Because deep inside, I already knew something was wrong. But hearing it from her own brother made the truth undeniable. He told me she had been disappearing for hours, claiming she was with him, but he hadn't seen her in weeks. He said she would come home late, acting strange, smelling like places she'd never admit visiting. And then he said something that froze my entire body. "She has spots, places she goes, places she thinks no one knows about." I didn't understand. He explained there were 2 specific locations she visited. A small cafe on the edge of town, and a private park behind an apartment complex. She always made sure to park far, walk alone, never leave a trace. "She's not being careful because of you," he said. "She's being careful because of him." And my world tilted sideways. She had a whole system. A routine. A double life. And the man exposing it was her own flesh and blood. He pulled out his phone like his hands weighed 10 kilos. His fingers trembled as he scrolled through his gallery. He didn't want to show me, but guilt had eaten him alive long enough. He tapped a photo, turned the screen toward me. My heart stopped. It was her. Not with me. Not with her family. With a man I'd never seen before. A tall guy, arm around her waist like he owned her future. She wasn't uncomfortable. She wasn't confused. She wasn't resisting. She looked happy, relaxed, safe, like she'd been with him many, many times before. My vision blurred. My chest tightened. And he whispered, "I didn't want to tell you, but I couldn't keep lying for her." That sentence hit like a truck. He wasn't betraying his sister. He was betraying the lie she forced him to carry. That night I didn't sleep. I didn't even lie down. I sat on the edge of the bed staring at the floor, waiting for the hours to pass, waiting for her next lie to begin. She woke up the next morning acting normal. Too normal. She hummed to herself. She took her time doing makeup. She dressed better than a normal Thursday, but not enough for me to question it. Then she said the words I was waiting for. "I'm going to spend the evening with my brother." The same lie. The same script. The same routine she thought I still believed. I nodded, smiled, played along. And when she left, I grabbed my keys, waited 2 minutes, and followed her. This time not blindly. This time with confirmation. With proof. With fire in my chest. I didn't want revenge. I wanted the truth. The full truth. The truth she had hidden for months. She didn't drive toward her brother's house. Of course she didn't. She drove straight to the cafe the brother told me about. I parked far behind, heart-pounding, palms sweating. And after 5 minutes, there he was. The same man from the photo. He walked up to her like she belonged to him. No hesitation. No awkwardness. No guilt. He knew this routine well. She smiled at him with a softness she hadn't shown me in months. A softness she saved for him. They hugged. She leaned into him. He kissed the top of her head like it was a ritual. I recorded everything. Not to destroy her, but to protect myself from the lies she would eventually tell. Watching your partner love someone else in front of you. It changes you. Forever. A part of you dies in that moment. A part you never get back. While I was sitting in my car, recording them, my phone buzzed. It was her brother. I answered quietly. He didn't ask where I was. He didn't ask if I was okay. He just said, "You're there, aren't you?" My breath caught. He knew. He'd been through this feeling too, the shock, the burning, the disbelief. Then he said, "She's lying to both of us. She's been using me as an excuse so she can sneak away with him. I'm sorry you had to see it this way, but you needed to know." For a moment, the pain faded. Because in this nightmare, at least someone cared enough to tell me the truth. His next words hit harder. She wasn't planning to stop. She wasn't confused. She wasn't torn. She chose him a long time ago. I felt my chest hollow out completely. Because he was right. She didn't make a mistake. She made a decision. Sitting there in my car, watching her laugh with him, I understood something painful. Something people in love refuse to admit. You don't lose someone when they walk away. You lose them long before that. In the moments you didn't notice. In the silences you ignored. In the smiles that weren't meant for you anymore. She wasn't slipping away. She was gone. And the version of her I missed didn't exist anymore. The woman I loved had already left the relationship. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Long before physically doing it. The hugs she gave me out of habit. The kisses she gave me out of guilt. The "I love you" she whispered without meaning. Were all leftovers of a love that died when I wasn't looking. I wasn't fighting for her. I was fighting for a memory. And that realization hit me harder than anything I'd seen that night. I didn't want to be angry at him. He was the only honest person in this twisted story. But pain has a way of turning confusion into fire. I asked him, "How long have you known?" There was a long silence on the phone. A silence that revealed everything before he even spoke. "A few months." Months. She'd been lying to me for months. And he had been carrying the burden. Waiting for the right moment to do the right thing. He told me he confronted her once. Told her she needed to stop before she hurt someone who genuinely cared about her. She said she would. But she didn't. Instead, she became more careful. More strategic. More secretive. She didn't feel guilty. She felt trapped between the comfort of what I gave her and the thrill of whatever he gave her. The brother apologized again, but I wasn't angry anymore. He was the only one who respected me enough to tell the truth, even when it meant betraying his sister. As I sat there replaying every memory, something ugly surfaced, a realization more painful than the cheating itself.
If this story hits you, you can support the channel with a quick hype.
She had convinced me that I was the problem. Every time she was distant, she blamed my questions. Every time she acted strange, she said I was overthinking. Every time she disappeared, she told me I had trust issues. She made me feel paranoid for noticing the truth. She made me feel insecure for asking simple questions. She made me feel guilty for wanting reassurance. In all that time, she was hiding someone else. Her biggest lie wasn't the man she met in secret. It was the idea she planted in my mind. The idea that I wasn't enough, that I was too much, that I was the reason she was slipping away. But now, watching her kiss him in front of that cafe, I realized I wasn't crazy. I wasn't insecure. I wasn't the problem. She was. There comes a moment when the pain becomes so heavy that your mind goes silent. That night, sitting alone in my car with the engine off, watching their silhouettes inside the cafe, I reached that moment. I stopped thinking about why she did it. I stopped thinking about what I lacked. I stopped thinking about what I could have done differently. Because none of it mattered anymore. The truth was right in front of me. Clear, raw, undeniable. She chose him. Not once. Not twice. But repeatedly. Willingly. Deliberately. And no explanation could change that. People cheat for many reasons. Boredom, fear, validation, selfishness. But the reason doesn't undo the choice. Her reason didn't matter. Her choice did. And in that moment, I finally stopped chasing answers and started accepting reality. When she went inside the cafe with him and disappeared behind the door, I knew I couldn't sit there any longer. I turned the key. My headlights lit the empty street. But the road home felt different. Like I wasn't heading back to my life, but leaving a part of myself behind. The drive felt heavy, slow, silent. Every streetlight felt like a spotlight on my failure. Every passing car felt like a reminder that the world kept moving. Even when mine was breaking. I wasn't angry. I wasn't crying. I wasn't screaming. I was numb. Completely, deeply numb. When I reached home and opened the door, the house felt unfamiliar. Like her lies had been living in it longer than I had. I sat on the edge of the bed, the same place I stayed awake the night before, and understood. Tonight wasn't just another night. It was the end of the person I used to be. On the silent ride home, my mind played out a conversation I knew would never actually happen. A version of me sitting across from her, calm, steady, unshaken. A version of her forced to confront every lie. I imagined myself asking, why him? Why lie? Why break something that loved you unconditionally? And in this imaginary conversation, she never had an answer. Because cheaters rarely do. They don't think about consequences. They don't think about the destruction. They only think about themselves. Their excitement, their ego, their temporary thrills. And as I let this imaginary conversation play out, something strange happened. I realized I didn't want her answers anymore. I didn't care what story she'd make up, what excuse she'd build, what tear she'd force out. Her explanations couldn't change the truth. Her words couldn't fix the wound. Her apologies couldn't rebuild the trust. The conversation I replayed in my head wasn't for closure. It was for acceptance. I didn't lose someone who loved me. I lost someone who lied to me. And that's not a loss. That's a rescue. Pain twists the truth. It whispers lies like, you weren't enough. If you were better, she wouldn't do this. You're the reason she left. But sitting alone in that dark room, surrounded by memories of a relationship built on trust, I finally understood something powerful. Her cheating was never a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of her character. People cheat because they are broken. They are insecure. They are selfish. They fear commitment. They want validation. They crave something new. It's never because you lack something. It's because they lacked loyalty. And when this truth finally became clear, the pain didn't disappear, but it stopped controlling me. She broke something pure, something loyal, something real. But she didn't break me. She only revealed who she truly was. That night, after hours of sitting in silence, my body finally gave in. I fell asleep. Not peacefully, but the kind of sleep that overtakes you when your mind is exhausted from feeling. And when I woke up, everything felt different. Not healed, not fixed, not okay, just different. You know that feeling after a storm, when the air is strangely quiet, like the world is waiting for something new to begin. That's how it felt. I looked around the room. Nothing had changed. But inside me, something had shifted. The version of me who tolerated the bare minimum. Gone. The version of me who accepted half love. Gone. The version of me who trusted without being valued. Gone. I wasn't healed, but I was awake. Awake in a way I hadn't been in years. Pain didn't destroy me. It woke me up. The sun came through the curtains, but the room felt colder than usual. A part of me expected a message from her. A good morning. A lie wrapped in affection. A routine that used to feel warm. But there was nothing. And instead of hurting, it felt like freedom. I made coffee without thinking of her order. I sat without waiting for her call. I breathed without feeling watched. For the first time, my morning belonged to me. Not to her excuses. Not to her schedules. Not to her lies. I didn't miss her. I missed the version of love I thought I had. And once I separated the illusion from the reality, the pain softened. Because losing someone unfaithful isn't losing. It's clearing space for something real. I didn't send her a long message. I didn't write a speech. I didn't tell her how badly she hurt me. I simply sent one text. I know everything, it's over. And that was it. No explanation owed. No closure required. No second chances given. Her response came minutes later. A flood of excuses. Tears. Voice notes. Promises to change. Blame. Manipulation. Everything except honesty. But I didn't listen. Not because I hated her, but because I finally loved myself more than her lies. I blocked her. Deleted her number. Closed the chapter. And as I stood there looking out the window, a strange calmness washed over me. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't scared of letting go. I was scared of what would have happened if I kept holding on. This wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of a new one. A stronger one. A wiser one. A real one. And that was my final goodbye.
If you've ever felt this kind of pain, don't walk through it alone. Hit subscribe and stay with us. More real stories are coming.